Searched and Seized is both the last garage sale mystery film and also the last one that I have to watch. So I was really wanting this to be good. Not just because it's the last one, but also because I had to pay for the DVD. Because in the UK, this is the only one that's just not available to stream anywhere, which was kind of frustrating. But I bought the DVD nevertheless, and honestly, I'm really disappointed. I didn't enjoy it very much at all. And in fact, one of the subplots was significantly more interesting than the main narrative. It's not a bad film as such, by which I mean the narrative does make sense. We have a reasonable amount of suspects, everything flows well enough. I just found it to be really boring. I just didn't care about any of the suspects, and I wasn't really that bothered about finding out who was responsible. Would I recommend it? Yes, but only if you've seen the other garage sale mysteries, just so you can say you've seen the last one. But if you're just looking for a good film, it's not very interesting. This was released in 2022. It's directed by Neill Fearnley and, of course, stars Loughlin as Jennifer Shannon. And Jennifer's friend Miles, they're together at a police auction, and then soon afterwards, he is dead. And I don't want to say too much about why this is or what happened. IMDb gives a little bit more information than I would like to, so I won't go into any more detail, but I will say that it becomes pretty apparent that it's got something to do with various criminal activities, organised criminal activities, and I found that to be. It just wasn't interesting. The motives were kind of boring, the suspects were just really mundane, and I really didn't care. And Miles as a character, I didn't really feel any connection with. I never felt like, even in the short space of time before he came up dead, I never felt like we made a real connection with him as a character. So there was no emotional response from me either. And I just found it very dull. And I don't want to give it away just in case you do decide to watch it. But ultimately, when we find out the truth, that scene was okay actually. When the truth is revealed and we have it confirmed who was responsible for various things, I think that scene was well done. I wouldn't say I enjoyed the scene, but it was better than the rest of the film. And there's a bird involved, and the bird just irritated me so much. It talks, it's a talking bird, and it annoyed me so much. And I know that sounds mean because it's a poor bird, but I just found that to be so irritating. We did have a subplot that I thought was quite interesting, though, as I said, and this involves Logan and Jason working on this car. And they find something in the car that connects it to its, not necessarily its previous owner, but an owner from quite a long time ago. And again, I don't want to say too much about that, but I was actually more interested in that part, wondering whether they'd actually tracked down the original owner, because they found some photographs and some other things that could have been quite sentimental to this owner. And I was really curious to find out if they'd track this owner down and if they'd, get a chance to deliver these items to them. And I was a lot more emotionally invested in that than I was the main narrative. As I said, though, it's not a bad film. It's just not interesting. Everything works well enough. We have, as I said, a decent amount of suspects, because there's nothing worse than a mystery where you have maybe one or two suspects because there's no real mystery. But this one, there was enough going on that I thought it was well written in a sense, but I just also found it to be really boring and I just did not care. So unfortunately, I'm not ending Garage Sale Mysteries on the highest note, but it doesn't affect my enjoyment of the other films. I've loved most of them. There have been a couple of weak links, but in general, the series has been pretty incredible. There are, I think, 16 films, and I'd say I've loved a good 80% of them, which is not too bad. As I said, if you have watched some of the other garage sale mysteries, then I'd say absolutely check this one out if you can, if you're willing to buy the DVD or if you're fortunate enough to live somewhere where you can stream it. But if you're just looking for a good film, I'd say it's not worth it. Also, if you've never seen Garage Sale Mysteries, do not watch this one first because it's not up to the usual standard. And also, you don't have to watch them in order. For example, I'm currently also watching the Aurora Teagarden films. Those films definitely are better watched in order, mostly because of Aurora's relationships. Whereas with these films, I hadn't watched some of them in order, and it's been absolutely fine. So any order really, but certainly chronologically would be an interesting experience. Having watched the last one last, I guess it's nice to see how it ended. This wasn't the intended ending. There had, as far as I know, been another film in production that was pulled because of obvious things that happened. So it's not as if this is the series finale. It wasn't intended as that, and that's a good thing because it's not very good. But as a final film for me to watch, it's fine. It's not bad as such, but I didn't enjoy most of it. But I love Lori Loughlin, so I enjoyed watching her in this. The story with the car, I quite enjoyed as well. The main story with Miles's death, I just didn't care for. Unfortunately, Garage Sale Mysteries Searched and Seized is not the best way to end things.